Hello class 6, how are you all doing? Children, before I begin with a new chapter, let me tell you the answers of second assignment so that just in case there any mistake done from your part in the answers, you may correct those mistakes. Okay? So let us begin. In your second assignment from exercise A, page number 9, 3, 4, 5 sentences were given which were multiple choice questions. Okay, so you had to take one of the options. So the third sentence is the fuel Ramchand's mother would use in the stove was, out of the three options, the answer is kerosene. The stove which was used by Ramchand's mother in the kitchen was fueled by kerosene. Fourth sentence. When Ramchand's mother realized that it was difficult to make whiskers from Chuhu, she came up with an excuse to keep Ramchand, and the answer is amused. Okay, the answer is amused. Number 5. Ramchand's father gave him the most expensive biscuit was sugar coated biscuit. Okay. Now from B exercise, question 3 to 6 were given. Question 3 was, who was Chuhu? Why did Ramchand's mother tell him the story of Chuhu? So the answer is, Chuhu was the name of the mouse which Ramchand's mother made out of the dough. That is the answer of the first part. Okay. Now the second part was, why did Ramchand's mother tell him the story of Chuhu? Answer is, Ramchand's mother told him the story of Chuhu so that he may stay away from the stove. Okay. Number 4 question. Why did Ramchand's father call out to his wife? Answer. Ramchand's father called out to his wife because he wanted her help in finding the misplaced tin of black pepper. Question number 5. In what state did Ramchand's mother find him when she came back to the room? Answer. When Ramchand's mother came back to the room, she found Ramchand sitting in the same place, in the same corner where she had left him, with the dough still in his hand, but he was crying. Okay? And the last question is, how did Ramchand's parent comfort him? Okay, so the answer is Ramchand's mother. Parents is both father and mother. So you have to tell the part played by both mother as well as the father. Okay. So Ramchand's mother washed his face. Okay. Dried it with a gentle cotton cloth and gave him a warm cup of milk to drink. And his father gave him the most expensive biscuit from his shop, that is sugar coated biscuit, to comfort him. Okay. Now from exercise C, that was reference to context, second part was given to you. And the second part was the context was the silence of his mother, the simple truth in his father's voice. These were things Ramchand never forgot. There was perfect peace in the room after that moment. This was the context. Okay. Now the first part of this second context is, what simple truth is referred to here? The answer, the simple truth referred here is that the father also did not know what was the most beautiful thing for him in the world. Okay. B question is, why was Ramchand's mother silent? Ramchand's mother was silent because she wanted to comfort him, calm him, and make him understand what his father was telling him. Okay. C part. Write 2 adjectives to describe the behavior of Ramchand's parents as they comforted him. So according to me, the 2 adjectives are honest and gentle. Okay, because father was honest in accepting the truth that he himself does not know what is the most beautiful thing to him at this stage, at this age, and gentle because both of them handled the situation very nicely and they were very gentle towards their son. Okay. The last part was, why do you think this incident left a lasting impression on Ramchand? Why do you think this incident left a lasting impression on Ramchand? The incident left a lasting impression on Ramchand because it made him realize that his parents love him no matter what, and that it is okay not to know everything in the world. Right? Now, from page number 10 in the vocabulary section, circle the odd one out was also given to you, and in this you have to tell the reason also that why you are choosing that answer. Okay. The first one is, there are 4 words given in each row. The first one is murmured, whispered, crooned and wailed. So which is the odd one out here? The odd one out is wailed, W-A-I-L-E-D, because that is crying, whereas murmur, whisper and crooned is speaking softly to someone. Okay. Next one is number 2, shining, dull, bright and glowing. The odd one is dull. Dull is something which is not very bright. So shining, bright and glowing are the positive thing. Okay. Whereas dull is the something which is not very shining, which is not very glowing or bright, is called dull. So dull is the opposite of all these 3 words. Shining, bright and glowing on means the same thing. Dull means the opposite word. Okay. Number 3, wildly, courteously, politely and respectfully. Out of these 4, the odd one out is wildly. Okay. Courteously, politely, respectively are good manners. Okay. Are like same thing. When you speak softly, politely with somebody, this instead of politely you can use the word courteously also and respectfully also, when you have got respect to the person with whom you are talking. And wildly is when you are not being, when you are not behaving properly with the person. So wildly is the odd one out here. Okay. Next one is miserable, hopeful, unhappy and sorrowful. And here the odd one out is hopeful. Someone who is full of hope is called hopeful. And miserable, unhappy and sorrowful are when you are not feeling very good, when you are not in a good mood. So you use these 3 words, like I'm very miserable, that means you are not happy, you are unhappy. Or when you are suffering, when you are feeling some sadness, then you say, oh, I'm very sorrowful. Okay. The 5th one, sincere, genuine, faithful and dishonest. The correct answer is, the odd one out is dishonest. When you do not do something honestly, that's called dishonest. Okay. And sincere, genuine and faithful is when you are doing something honestly and with full and with good intention. Okay. Number 6 one, alien, familiar, recognizable and usual. So the odd one out here is alien. Alien means somebody who with whom you are not acquainted with. Okay, somebody whom you do not know. So alien is another word of stranger. Whereas familiar, recognizable and usual is, familiar is somebody with whom you are familiar, whom you already know. Recognizable is you can recognize that person also. And usual is something which happens on a daily basis. Okay. So alien is the odd one out in the 6th sentence. Right. So that was the answer of your second assignment. In case any of your answers is not matching with what I have told you, you can correct it. No need to send me the corrected version. Okay. Now coming to today's class. Today I'll be taking your poem. I'll be teaching you a poem. And the poem is written by Rabindranath Tagore, who is one of the famous Indian poets, and the poem is um, about a boy who has in an imaginative mind. He wants to travel to faraway places, to fairy lands, and one day he finds a boat that was tied near on the banks of a river, and he then imagines that if the owner of that boat gives him boat for a day, then what all places he can go to and what all things he can bring from there. So poem is about that, and the name of the poem is The Sailor. It through the poem, the poet tells you how imaginative the mind of a child can be. Okay, so let us begin with the poem. For that, you have to open page number 16 of your English course book. The boat of the boatman Madhu is moored at the wharf of Rajganj. It is uselessly laden with jute and has been lying there idle for ever so long. The speaker in this poem is a very small child. He lives in Rajganj. So one day when the child was roaming around, he was wandering around, he goes near the banks of a river where he finds a boat which was completely loaded with jute. Now the boat belonged to a boatman named Madhu, and it was anchored, it was tied at the wharf. Wharf is a place where boats stop when they are not sailing. Okay, so when the child goes near the boat, he finds that the boat is completely loaded with jute, and he feels that, and when he looks around, he is not able to find the boatman Madhu. So he feels that the boat is lying there uselessly without any purpose, and he wonders why it has been loaded with jute. If he would only lend me his boat, I should man her with 100 oars and hoist sails 5 or 6 or 7. I should never steer her to stupid markets. I should sail the 7 seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. The small child starts wondering and starts imagining. He wonders that if the owner of the boatman Madhu, agrees to give him his boat for a day, he would travel across the 7 seas and the 13 rivers of the fairyland. Okay, now the 7 seas are the Caspian Sea, the Adriatic Sea, the Arabian Sea, the Persian Gulf, the Mediterranean Sea, the Argan Sea, and the Black Sea. Okay, so the child is imagining to travel across these 7 seas within a day if the boatman Madhu is willing to give him his boat for a day. And in order to do so, he is also imagining that to travel to across the 7 seas, he will have to fix oars and sails onto the river, and he is thinking that if Madhu agrees, then he will be fixing 100 oars to propel the boat and he will also hoist 6 or 7 sails onto the boat. Now what are sails? Sails are cloth. It's a huge canvas sort of a cloth which captures the force of the wind and helps the boat to move forward. Okay, so the small child imagines going across the 7 seas and the 13 rivers in the boat of Madhu. He says that he will never take the boat to stupid markets. He finds market to be a stupid place. Now for him, boat is not meant to be taken to market. Instead, it is meant to be sailed onto sailed. It is meant to be used to sail across rivers and oceans. Okay, so he says that he's never going to take the boat to the market, but would rather go and sail across the 7 seas and 13 rivers of the fairyland if the boatman Madhu gives him his boat for a day.